Log in to the CNC computer using the details under the screen. On the desktop, open en route. When it opens, it will look like this. Go up to File and New. This window will open, and this is probably the most crucial step of your whole setup. This window asks the size of your panel, placement of your panel, and most importantly, the thickness of your panel. If you don't enter the correct thickness, you will either cut far too deep or far too shallow into the panel. Enter the width of your panel. The width is measured down the long side of the machine. Enter the height of your panel and your thickness. Origin is always 0, 0. But your panel up to the very bottom left to achieve 0, 0. Margin stays on 0, 0. Think of this like the dead zone around your panels, on the laser engraver. Surface is always to bottom of plate. Hit OK, and move to the next step. To import your work, like I have here, go up to File and click Import. Track down your file and hit Open. Here, we have a collection of things I am going to cut. All of our tools and cutting options live up here in this drop-down menu. Routing offset is through cutting. Hatch, island, and spiral fill are all used to engrave out graphics, just performed in different patterns. Horizontal lines, spiral square or spiral circle. You will use hatch fill most often. Engraving is for engraving single lines. Use this for V-grooving. Pyramid is very similar, but a slightly different shape tool. Drag knife looks like a Stanley knife and is handy for corflute. We don't have one. And threading is for pre-drilling holes, like flat pack furniture. Let's click on Routing Offset to practice a through cut. In this list are the tools that our machine has. Double-click on the tool that you want to use. You want to use the tool that is closest in thickness to your material. For example, for 10mm material, I would use our 8mm tool, but maybe cut it in 2 passes. Once you double-click, it will display above the list. Enter the depth here. This is the thickness of the material. Then click the 3 dots under Edit. The aim in this window is to have everything green before we exit. In here, the thing you will mainly do is enter feeds and speeds. Think of these like the force and speed of a plotter. Depth, just ensure final depth matches the thickness of your material. Passes, change only the number of passes you want to do to get all the way through your material. As a rule, I do 2 or more passes on anything hard or thick. Widths, you will never do anything here. It's decided by the CNC bit you choose. Feeds and speeds, download the CNC settings document from your additional resources area on VU Collaborate, and based on the thickness of your material, enter your approximate feed rate, plunge rate, and spindle speed. As a general rule, the thicker something is, the slower it is cut. When using these scales, think of the thinnest form of that material on the fast end, and the thickness form of that material on the slow end, and think of where your material thickness is in that spectrum. Approximate numbers are okay and safe. Based on the thickness of your material, enter your approximate feed rate, plunge rate, and spindle speed. Direction. Use conventional for everything except acrylic. Acrylic is cut in climb. Entry/exit parameters. Make sure none is ticked for both. Click OK. When you zoom in, you should see a cut path with little arrows traveling around your shape. This shows you now have a cut line of some sort set. Now, we'll add the same routing offset to these other two shapes. The last use settings will be saved, so all we'll have to do is click routing offset and OK. Now, we can move on to engraving our cat. First, make sure all of your engraving is grouped. Go to Transform in the top left and click Group. Then, we can use Hatch Fill from our tools list. For any graphic engraving, we are going to find our 3mm bit and double-click to select it. Enter the depth you want to engrave to. This won't be the total thickness of the panel, it's just how deep down you want to engrave. Usually 3mm works well. Click 3 dots under Edit. Again, the only thing we will really edit is the feeds and speeds. Go back to your CNC settings document and estimate your speeds. You will now be shown a collection of paths. If you can't see a path in a section of your art, it means that section was too narrow for the bit to fit into. This one looks perfect. Select all of your artwork and click on this 1 and 2 symbol on the top right. This is your toolpath or cutting order. Change the drop-down to inside out. You always want the machine to cut or engrave all inside objects first before attempting to cut the through cut. Or you will be trying to engrave a moving object. Now, go up to Machining and click Output. Check Tool Order and drag your engraving tool or your inside tool to the top. Check your strategy order and drag your engraving tool or your inside tool to the top. Click to file and save this on the desktop. Name it something you will remember. When asked this, choose G56 and click OK. It is our bottom left origin point of our CNC. Now, retrieve this red USB from the CNC and plug it into the CNC computer. Copy your file from the desktop onto this USB into the Jobs folder. If this USB goes missing, any USB can be used. But it must have nothing on it at all, except for a folder called Jobs. Once copied, plug back into the CNC machine. Now, move on to the cutting process tutorial.